Having conversations ahead of the State of the Nation address in 2026, where we're expecting President Cyril Ramaphosa to just address the country and, share with us his thoughts and also share with us his plans for the country moving forward. We've got the spokesperson of the African National Congress here. And I just want to find out from you, coming from the part of the African National Congress, we are, smack in the middle of GNU, smack in the middle of commissions happening in the country, revelations that have shocked quite a lot of South Africans as well. What can we expect from the president, as, a member of the ruling party and also a member of the GNU as well?
Well, the president has initiated a lot of interventions to address some of the challenges that our country faces, one of which you've just mentioned, crime and corruption. It is the first time. It will probably be one of the very few international experiences where a head of state will institute investigations into corruption, and knowing full well that some of those investigations may very well impugn members of his own party or South Africans of some repute or the other. And I think that point is often lost to us as South Africans when we look at the actions that he has taken, to say we are laying ourselves bare. Let's clean up our country, and the only way is to take decisive steps towards so, such as Mahlengi Commission, the Edo Committee in Parliament, and many, the capacitating the Special Investigating Unit, the SIU, can mention a whole lot of things and steps that have been taken to reform and to deal with instability in our criminal justice system. And I think that has got to be applauded. But what must then happen, and certainly this is the expectation of the African National Congress, is that the president will take the country into confidence tonight about the way forward. What more steps are being taken to ensure that there will be prosecutions as he directed when he set up the scope of work and the terms of reference for the Mahlengi Commission, that we must not wait until the Commission provides the end of term report or the closeout report rather, and must ensure that they can anytime direct that those people that must face the full might of the law should face the full might of the law. In relation to all the other challenges which must demonstrate to the people of South Africa that this SONA is not just talk, is to then reflect on the commitments that were made in last year's SONA, and then account for what have we done to implement those commitments with specific details. And certainly that is the expectation of the African National Congress. We know that a lot of work has been done to begin to shift our economy in a positive direction, leading us into the future to tackle unemployment, particularly youth unemployment, by ensuring that some of the things we're starting to see are happening, where we're getting into investment and trade deals with countries such as China. A historic deal just got agreed to some days ago, where we are seeing us being removed from the grey list, which basically is saying the international community are saying we no longer are a risk to do trade with or to do partnerships and cooperations with. We can see the strengthening of the rand, even against attacks by US's Donald Trump. We can see the fact that European institutions have also said South Africa is a suitable place to do trade with. So there are so many things that can be mentioned that have happened just in these past 12 months that point to those commitments are taking us in a positive direction. And so we're looking forward to hearing what more is in store.
Let's talk about the significance of having the SONA 26 at a time where South Africa is also commemorating 30th anniversary of the Constitution as well. How significant is that, and how do you think that will influence President Cyril Ramaphosa's, delivery tonight?
Absolutely significant. 30 years of the installation of the new democratic architecture for South Africa through the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And this also happening, including this SONA, happening at a time when there is a frontal attack on the rights that are enshrined in the Bill of Rights, particularly by big powers such as the United States. At a time when our national sovereignty is being threatened, at a time when South Africans need to unite more than ever before to defend these freedoms, because you see, the elderly, they know better about what it meant as a black man to leave work and not to miss the curfew, because you must be outside of town at a certain time to be home. They know that in fact townships and reserves were littered with taverns, so that the people that were oppressed could almost have no purpose. And all of those things, you can just possibly think about so many other things that are a representation of the apartheid system, and the Group Areas Act, all of that. And there is a tendency by some amongst us in our country to belittle those freedoms. And that's why people always say, wait until these are reversed, then you'll understand what the past used to be about. There's also a tendency to say, when this is raised or said, that we are making excuses. Never tell us about apartheid. Tell us about the past 31 or 2 years. And I always say, tell both stories with a sense of balance and a sense of measure. But back to your point, it's an important SONA from that respect as well, because it means the fundamental question that we must respond to as young people in particular is, how are we going to ensure that the ongoing construction of a democratic order where people live with access to basic services, where water and insecurity is a thing of the past, where gender-based violence and femicide become a thing that is abhorred by society instead of being laughed at, where even young men use the language that says, I smashed a woman. Those things are the things we must reflect. Of course, there'll be a series of activities throughout the year to mark our landmark constitution that is uploaded across the year. We know that we still have challenges in relation to access to the land for many of our people. But this parliament has passed legislation during 2025 once more, and several other progressive legislations and regulations that are enabling transformation. So it must be also a year of reflection by our people.
Mayor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we're chatting to the spokesperson of the African National Congress, Mahlengi. We're just talking about the importance and the relevance of the Constitution and the anniversary of celebrating, the hardships that South Africa has had to endure to get to this point. This is The Voice Lounge, streaming to you live on www.thevoicelounge.co.za, coming to you live from Cape Town.
The Voice Lounge, where voices come to life.